about this.
How much are you willing to pay for your principles? I know that's a little bit of an almost...
It's about Nintendo just started charging you extra to own your games. I need to know. I need to know. It's going to piss me off. 10 minutes.
accusatory question to start a video with, but most gamers will tell you that they care about preservation and that they care about
I'm
ownership
afraid
of their actual video games. But caring is easy when it's free, and the question of today's video is $10 more for a physical video game worth it?
Ooh. The thing is, I hate the cartridges. I'm gonna be completely real with you. I fucking hate the cartridges that I can only play one, and if I wanna swap, then I have to swap in and out.
And that is not a
I hate
hypothetical.
it.
That is the challenge that Nintendo have just laid down.
Wait, it's cheaper if you buy digital? I wanted the box. I don't want the cartridge. I only wanted to keep the box. It's a pain in the butthole. I don't know why you cannot just sort of buy the game, activate it, and keep it on your goddamn thing. Why do you still have to keep the cartridge in the Switch? It's annoying.
In front of you. The good news, you can probably still buy a physical version of their first-party games. The less good
Like the digital copy, the old cheaper price?
news, it'll cost you more than the alternative. In 2025, US spending on new physical video games totaled $1.5 billion, which is actually the lowest since 1995, according to Circana, so it is just 30 years of decline. That's of course because digital is taking over. But there's a shimmering of good news because the most recent decline of only 11% is less than the previous year, which was a 28% decline. And according to analysts like Matt Piscatella, one of the key factors...
Dude, all these like GameStop companies are shutting down is so sad. You know what's more sad? Most game shop companies, they don't even keep like games anymore. Or like, you know, like you go, I don't know if it's like for you guys the same, but the last time I went to like a physical gaming store, they had only the empty boxes out and like the Funko Pops. And like you have to go, and sometimes they don't even have the game in stock or like the console in stock, and it's just, oh, we can pre-order it for you. And like, no, bitch, if I want to pre-order it, I can order it online. Like, I don't need you to do it. It's either I'm picking it up right now or I'm going fucking home.
that actually helped stabilize those figures was the launch of the Switch 2. Because Nintendo people actually like physical games. And of course, while PlayStation and Xbox have been going in the digital-only route with their consoles, Nintendo's held out. That's because Nintendo first-party games usually have amazing physical sale rates. And that's especially because they're not using game keycards, unlike, say, the third-party releases, which means that they can't even spark preservationist ire. So, Nintendo, then, is the last holdout, a bright spot in physical gaming outside of, say, specialist firms like Lost.
Instead of making things more expensive, can we just lower the prices instead? Can we just say that instead of the $60 or $70, it will be just cheaper if it's online? Can we? Please, if I say pretty please.
Cult. Well, today's story,
please.
Even that is changing. Nintendo released a news post detailing a change to how Switch 2 games are going to be priced. And as it turns out, starting with Yoshi and the Mysterious Book, which comes out in May, any digital first-party Switch 2 games will have a different MSRP from their physical versions. Now, MSRP is the manufacturer's suggested retail price. So that means a shop can just sell something for whatever they
Manufacturer's suggested retail price. Thank you.
want, but of course, Nintendo treat it as the baseline. So, when we take a look at the US store page for Yoshi, we see this: a physical version for $70, a digital for $60. And it now seems that this is Nintendo's standard policy, where the digital and physical versions of the very same game will have different prices. Here's their rationale. Nintendo games offer the same experiences whether in packaged or digital format, and this change simply reflects the different...
Okay, but what was the original price? Was the original price 70 before, or was it 60 before? This is a price drop, so it's $10 cheaper if you buy it online. Because that's just... I mean, Listen, if they drop the price, I don't care. If they add it to the price, then I'm mad.
Costs associated with producing.
It's not really... Yeah, but like they always release it roughly for the same price. Like everything is basically the same.
And distributing each format
you know?
offers players more choice.
Like, I will not be angry if they are doing you know, a solid, even if they are being cunts about it.
And how they can buy and play Nintendo games. Now, the problem for Nintendo is that some people saw this as a price increase in the US, that Nintendo had chosen to increase the price of physical games by $10 and punish people who like collecting, preserving, or just owning the stuff that they own. Or, you know, just owning their game off console. Nintendo does not want you to think that way, and in a statement to IGN after the first wave of confusion and outrage, they claimed that they had been misunderstood. Here's what they said. The cost of physical games is not going up. This means that when Nintendo sells digital versions of Nintendo-published games exclusive to Nintendo Switch 2 to customers in the US, those prices will have an MSRP that is lower than their physical counterparts.
Oh, then I'm fine with it. That's fine. Then I'm perfectly fine. Wait, no? It will increase again in 6 months. Surely not. If they're just lowering the digital, then I don't give a fuck.
So what that basically means is that relatively, buying digital is now the better deal. I think it's fairly obvious why. You see, there's a key thing you need to know to understand all of this, and it's that the US is actually central because Nintendo is technically telling the truth for...
Did he just birth an egg? Did he just like that? Just came out of his ass? Oh my god! Oh my god! That's just Yoshi. I just never seen it in action before. Oh my god.
Technically telling the truth for the US. Now, in the US,
just like
games
that,
like Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, Kirby Air Raiders, and Mario Tennis Fever all had $70 prices directly from Nintendo. It didn't matter if it was physical or digital, it was based just on the price of the game. But in the rest of the world, the prices fluctuated. As an example, in the UK, the new Yoshi game has been available for pre-order since March 10th, and here the digital price had always been £50, while the physical one was always £59. And the same is actually true across European stores. France has got a €10 difference as well, so in other words, outside of the US, physical games did already cost more. Until this announcement, Yoshi and the Mysterious Book wasn't available for pre-order from Nintendo in the US. They hadn't set a US price, and
never pre-order. I don't care what company is it. Never pre-order. Learned about this. Nah.
Any retailer or speculator was simply drawing from non-US pricing and Nintendo's form on releases. So it may look then like Nintendo has raised the prices of this game, but actually in this example, it's not that. They just never set it in America. So when Nintendo says they, not other retailers, are setting MSRPs lower for digital games going forward, they are technically correct. The best form of correct. But it doesn't mean that $60 is what Nintendo games cost now. You see, what they've done here is set a precedent and the rules going forward. First-party digital has to be cheaper than physical. That's actually a relative thing. Nintendo set the highest limit for a game's price with the launch of Mario Kart World. They can charge anything up to $80 for a physical game and still...
Bro, the new Mario Kart is so expensive. It's not normal. I swear to God, it's not normal that these games are this expensive. It costs a fucking arm and a leg. It's so much. And then plus you have to buy like the new Switch. Even for Pocopia, they were so fucking smart. There were so many people who didn't buy the Switch 2 and Pocopia only came out for the Switch 2. It's unavailable for the Switch 1. So if you wanted to play it, you have to buy the entire ass console.
Will maintain that promise. So a $70 digital release for the next Pokemon games or Fire Emblem...
Okay, to be fair, Switch 2 is fucking amazing. The better screen is so fast, it's so beautiful. I'm not saying it, but they actually cooked with that one, okay?
Emblem or Mario, but with an $80 physical release...
Yeah, of course.
Well, that would be fine. Nothing in the new policy would prevent that. And to understand why they may indeed go there, you just need to see how Nintendo thinks about cost. While it's difficult to accurately gauge the future impact, our basic policy is to recognize tariffs as a cost and pass them on to prices as much as possible, not just in the US. That's a quote from Nintendo President Furukawa from an interview in Kyoto Shimbun that VGC spotted earlier this year. At the time, US tariffs are still ongoing, though of course far less than they had been, and Nintendo is actually one of the many companies now taking legal action to reclaim what they paid.
Oh shit,
of course, given
let's
the whole
go.
Supreme Court ruling. But what this also does is it explains their corporate philosophy.
Dude, I hate this. Ever since this entire tariff thing, shipping prices are such a nightmare. I am still mad at America for that.
The impact of tariffs might be lessened, but the data center crisis and
nightmare.
ongoing cost increases, say from the conflict in the Middle East, all do hit, basically in the same way, higher costs. And Nintendo's basic policy is to pass those on to consumers. Unlike the other console makers who would very happily sell their consoles as loss leaders, Nintendo has just always sold stuff at a profit. You know, it's almost as if they've tried to make a healthy, sustainable business. But going back to the story, even before the Switch 2 launched, that's how Nintendo ran things, and it meant that Americans were already paying less for physical games relative to other regions. Nintendo, of course, will always try to minimize how much they are spending, and physical games in the rest of the world were effectively subsidizing the US. And that wasn't all Nintendo was doing to mitigate the problem. You see, their other key move was to split the difference with game keycards. Strange things, basically physical licenses that you could sell and trade, but without any game data on them.
Oh? Wait, so... So your Nintendo could hypothetically run it without that annoying card in it, but it won't because you're not having basically the code on it? Oh, that's so ass. Oh, that's so awful. What the fuck?
It was just a code that would unlock a download, but what it did mean is that bigger games could still sit on a shelf without needing expensive cartridges. Unfortunately, the compromise kind of made no one happy. Hardware fans didn't want a physical token. They wanted their actual game. I mean, hey, you can't ROM...
Then there is no point to having a physical copy. Like, if it doesn't have a game on it, if, like, let's say they would shut down the entire service and that one is just a code, then there is no point. Then what's... Yeah, other than just a fancy box, right? Now, you can resell it because you need the code for the game to work, so you can, but it does not have the game on it. So, like, if, let's say, hypothetically, Pocopia would cease to exist and they shut down the service, you cannot play it anymore offline because you do not have the game.
Can you? Now, some devs ended up paying out to produce these cards, but there was no evidence that they really increased sales. And even now, that's changing. You see, a recent tease from a third-party publisher, Inen, or maybe they're called IN, I don't know, but it was via their R-Type Dimensions listing. Well, it suggests that Nintendo have actually rolled out smaller game cartridges. Now, Nintendo later made them retract the details, but it does seem the cartridge is still coming. And what this means is the developers can buy cheaper, smaller cards rather than the 64GB ones that they've been paying for since launch. So, cheaper cartridges does mean that third-party devs can finally start producing physical Switch 2 games at a reasonable cost. But even with that silver lining, Inen's pre-orders went up $10 to cover the difference. So, physical still carries a premium, and that gap is certainly not going away. So how do we analyze Nintendo's actions? Well, I think it's clear they were not...
It's easy. Just don't buy the games. Only buy what you really want to play. That's it. Leave otherwise alone. I have, for the Switch 2, I have Mario Kart and I have Pocopia. That's it. I'm not interested in anything else. I only pay the games or buy the games what I want to play. Not on Steam though. On Steam is different. Steam is my beloved, okay? That's completely different. We don't talk about Steam.
Not protecting physical media out of any form of principle. They're basically just maintaining that market because, for them, it still makes...
Steam is like, hey, I know that you were interested in this. How about we have a 90% sale on it? Would you be still interested? It's only $5. And I'm like, I'm not gonna play it, but it's only $5. Who am I to say no to $5?
Makes a shitload of money. People love buying physical Nintendo games, and their first-party games are especially strong in that regard, so they're going to keep doing it. But now, it does not work in the same way because costs are going up, spending is going down, and digital is just a better return on every dollar. So Nintendo are doing what PlayStation and Xbox did years ago. They're not abandoning physical, but they're making sure the economics push you towards digital. And the more that happens, well, the more efficient all of their businesses will be. But also, in a way, the less power that you will have. Because in breaking price parity in the US, more people will probably buy digital. And that'll mean fewer physical games on the secondary market, which is obviously a huge deal.
Look at even this GameStop. It's like there's barely any games. These are just accessories, fucking merch, Funko Pop. More accessories, more Funko Pop, maybe? Where are the games? Where is everything?
Or Nintendo, who would far rather, sell you the game themselves than not sell you the game because you bought it off GameStop or something. And where I'm genuinely worried is that against this trend line of diminishing physical spending, rising production costs, and a $10 saving on every digital purchase, that it's just hard to see preservation winning. It's not because gamers don't care. I think we all care about preservation. But it's because caring costs more money every year and it's only getting worse. And that's not great. But you know what's also not great? The huge goddamn price hikes. They are shocking. They're on the PS5 family of consoles. They're a grim reflection of what's going on these days, and you can learn all about it in this video next.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I'm in denial. I'm gonna go make a tea, and we are going to build factory.